Hello and welcome to the New Reception Parents Evening. My name is Ray Lee and I'm the head teacher. I do apologise that we can't meet in person, but hopefully with the other induction events that we've got lined up between now and the end of term, we'll hopefully meet you in person and your little one too. Okay, can we move to the next slide, please? So I'll just let you look through that slide. We have lots to share with you, but we thought just for this evening, we'll just focus on those 5 areas. As we said at the beginning, if you have any questions and you feel that they aren't answered in this presentation, don't hesitate to use the chat function. Or if you would like to contact us via telephone or email or at one of the events, come and talk to us. We're only too happy to answer any questions. And don't worry, no question's a silly question. We are all coming, we want to hopefully make sure that everybody feels very comfortable when they come into the school. So you might have already had a child that's come through school already, or this might be your first time with your little one starting school. So please don't hesitate to contact us. Okay, next slide, please. Right, so we'll start off with our staff. So obviously I'm the head teacher, I'm called Mrs. Lee. Your child will see me every day on the school gate. I will greet them as they come through, and I would really hope that they would respond in kind. It's really, really lovely to start the day off by saying good morning to the children and seeing them. Moving over to the right hand side, we have Mrs. Eagle. Mrs. Eagle is the Early Years Foundation Stage team leader, and she will be teaching class 1. And then to the right of her is Miss Reed. Miss Reed is the class 2 teacher, and she will be job sharing with Mrs. Wiltshire, who's just on the row underneath me. They will be working 3 days each, and so there will be a day where they work across, meet each other, so they will be able to just chat about your child and do a good handover. We're really fortunate in our school to have a support staff. So we have Mrs. Peacock, Mrs. Orledge and Mrs. Shaw. Now they have worked at the school for a very long time. They know the reception classrooms very well, and they will be able to support your child. Mrs. Orledge also has the role of Treehouse Club play supervisor. So if you're looking for wraparound care, that's breakfast club and after school club, she is the lady that will be looking after your children. And in the far right hand corner is Mrs. Hayho. She is a school secretary. Some of you may have already spoken to her if you've been booking for stay and play events, but she works in the office and you will be able to book things through her and find out about school uniform from her and school meals. And last but not least, we have Mrs. McGregor, who is our Senko in the left hand corner. And I think Mrs. McGregor, you wanted to say a few things. Is that okay if I stop talking?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you, Mrs. Lee. Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Vicky McGregor. I'm the Senko at school, and I work with children who've either got a long-term special need, so I might be working with them all the way through their time here at Hartford Infant, or I could work with children who've got a short-term need. So that could be they're having problems sleeping, or there's been, you know, an upsetting event, a bereavement, a parent breakdown, lots and lots of reasons. So my job changes from every day. I work in school on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And I can be contacted either on those days or leave a message for me at the office or on my email. There's also lots of information on the website about support for special educational needs, and have a look at that. If there's any questions that you can't answer from that, come and give me a shout. I always say to people, echoing what Mrs. Lee has said, no piece of information is too small. You have so many golden nuggets about your children, and you may have some worries. I'm a mum, I've been exactly where you are now with my child starting school. So if you've got a worry, please, please, please come approach us, let us know, because us knowing that means that we can put the right provision in place, and we can just make Hartford Infant the perfect place for you, for us, and more importantly for your child. So just come and find me if you need anything. Some of you I've already met, but I look forward to meeting all of you in person. Thanks everybody.
Lovely, thank you, Mrs. McGregor. Can we have the next slide, please? So our ethos, I'll just let you read through that slide. So as a staff, we are really proud to be working at Hartford Infant School. Some of us have been here for quite a few years. If you've had a child already come through the school, you'll know some of us. You'll know that we have a very welcoming atmosphere. I sometimes say it's a affectionate school. We're not going to be hugging your children or kissing them, but we do want your child to feel very comfortable, like they are at home when they come to school. So we hope that while your child is with us for the next 3 years, that they will have a positive one with us. Now, we're very human and we're very reflective practitioners, so we, would welcome any feedback to us, or just come and chat with us if there's anything that's troubling you or worrying you at all. So if you're thinking, why are they doing that in a particular way at school, come find us and talk to us. Or maybe if you think, oh gosh, I think they could have done that better, come and talk to us. We are always adapting our practices. And likewise, as Mrs. McGregor just said, if your child's had maybe something's happened at night, they could have had a bad night's sleep, come talk to us in the morning. We have an open door policy, and we would then be able to make reasonable adjustments to make sure that your child's day runs as smoothly as possible. We believe that the children are unique, and we will be adapting our curriculum to make sure that we support them appropriately. That might be that we need to give them a little bit more support. We might need to challenge them a little bit more, but we'll be talking to you at these very early stages to find out more about what your child has been like at preschool, or maybe they haven't been in a preschool setting, how they've been at home, because you are the first educators. So we need to find out a lot more about your child so that we can support them. What we're hoping for is that when they leave us in year 2 and they move on to the junior school, that they are confident, that in everything that they do, that they are curious and they're excited about their next part of their education in the junior school, but they're still curious about what's happening in the world around them, and that they can communicate, whether that is by talking or whether that is recording it in some particular way. So we believe that we are the role models. Now, we live in a digital age, as well, and this Teams meeting now, this live event, it's all very, very new for me. I'm used to standing up at the front and talking to you and seeing you, but we also do an awful lot of texting, don't we? And I think what we do need to make sure we're trying to do is talk to our children as much as possible. So when you do come onto site, if you could pop your phone away, take out your earbuds when they come out of the classroom at the end of the day, and talk to them and find out what they've been up to. Now, if they say to you, oh, I can't remember what I've done, or I've done, they say nothing, everything is on our school website, which I'll talk about a little bit more. But we really want to encourage that talking and chat at school all the time. What else do I need to tell you? Okay, we also are part of the CAM Academy Trust, so we're not a local authority maintained school, and I don't think that will affect you too much, because the junior school, which is on site, is part of the CAM Academy Trust, and so is St Peter's, which is a local feeder secondary school. Now, the majority of our children move from us from being 4-year-olds right the way through to the secondary school, and we all sit under the umbrella of the CAM Academy Trust, and we share their 6 principles. If you want to find out more about that, don't just have a little look on our school website and you could find out what those principles are. Right, I'm going to stop talking now and I'm going to move on to the next slide, and I think that is Mrs. Eagles next. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, I'm just going to talk through how the induction process works here at Hartford Infant School for your children. So the first thing to mention is your new starter information pack, which has all of the things we're about to tell you about in it. If you could come and collect that from the office from Wednesday. We had a little issue with our photocopier this week, so we've been able to push things back, and we've got everything ready for you to collect in the office, and that will include all of the details we'll share. So please don't worry about writing all this down. As I think Mrs. Lee said, this entire presentation will be available on the website, but also all the information here will be in your packs. So from the beginning, as you can see, we're starting with some story time. So we're going to have, each class is going to have a little story time outside. Hopefully the weather will be kind. So we're going to invite 15 children from each class to the slot, and we will let you know when that was. There's that I think we're going to ask you to come and book that. And then we will, hopefully, we're hoping to have half the children having a story with myself or Mrs. Wiltshire or Miss Reed, and then the other half of the small group of 15, we're hoping that they'll be able to go into their new classroom and have a little explore. Obviously this year is very different due to COVID restrictions, so we're just trying to weave in ways where your children can come into school and kind of see their setting and get to know us a little bit better. We have scaled back our sort of plans for lunches in the light of recent events with the COVID restrictions. So we're going to have lunches available for your children to book with yourself. So if we class one adult per child to kind of come with their child to lunch, they'll be able to come in from 11:15, and we're doing it over 10 days, as you can see, from the week beginning the 5th of July and the week beginning the 12th. So if you phone the office and book your slot, then you can come in, hopefully have a school dinner or a packed lunch with your child and kind of get a feel for how that runs here at Hartford. In addition to this, we're also running a changeover day. So this would be the day when all of the children within the school move up to the next year group. So on that day, we're going to invite the children in for an hour slot, as you can see. So there'll be half of each class will be in from 9 till 10, and then the other half will be in from 10:15 till 11:15. And we will contact you to let you know which of those slots your child has been allocated. We're going to talk to you a little bit more about transition now, so transition groups for September. So we're going to allocate the children, obviously there'll be either class 1 or class 2, and that information will be in your new starter pack that you'll receive this week. But there'll also be information in there as to whether your child is group A, B or C. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that in a moment. I will just mention the home visits. We were hoping to conduct these now in the summer term, but we feel that in the light of recent events, we're going to now do those in the first couple of weeks in September. So within your pack, there'll be some details of how to book. Again, it's a case of phoning the office, and then what we'll try and do is your child's class teacher or one of your child's class teachers and a teaching assistant will come and visit your child in the home environment and really get a feel for your child and kind of meet them in your home. So if you could have the next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so I won't read all of this to you. You can see, you know, in the coloured bars, you can see kind of rough, you know, in chronological order, how we're going to sort of run things. This is our current plan for the way things stand. So Wednesday the 1st and Thursday 2nd and Friday the 3rd are training days for staff, so therefore schools closed for all children. And then the week beginning Monday the 6th, that's when the reception children will begin their sessions. So we'll talk more about the format of the school day, but for those first couple of weeks, the morning session will be 8:40 in the morning through till 11:30, and that will be for all the groups. I'll talk more about the ABC format shortly, but what we try and do is we try and make it a very gradual, very positive lead in for your child. So we think that a kind of a staggered, slightly, you know, gentler start for your child is, and starting with part-time sessions is the smoothest way of sort of transitioning your child, especially as you know, in the summer term, we perhaps haven't been able to visit you in your home, and there's certain, you know, perhaps you've been able to come to stay and play, which is fantastic, but we wouldn't have been able to welcome your child into the school building as much as we would like. So even if your child is used to full days at nursery, we still have lots of routines and rules and kind of bits and pieces to kind of talk your children through and get them used to as they settle with us. And, you know, we anticipate that possibly some of the COVID restrictions will still be in place. So, you know, we need to make sure that we've got a higher adult to child ratio at the beginning, so your children get to know our routines and to make sure everybody's safe and happy as they start with us. A lot of children perhaps haven't spent much time in a preschool environment or school environment. So another way that our ease-in transition works is to kind of give your child the time to make relationships within their small group of 10 in their class, and also with our team of teaching assistants, and hopefully make it a less overwhelming and an overall more positive experience for your child. For the first few days, I'll show you the next slide in a moment, but for the first few days your child won't stay for lunch in school, so they'll just need to come into school in their school uniform with a book bag and a water bottle, and they'll receive the book bag and the water bottle on their first day at school, kindly bought by PATH, which is our PTA. And then what we will do in September is we will confirm the drop-off and collection points. But at the moment, we're anticipating they will be on the front playground in the area, just kind of outside where our garden area is. But we will hopefully be able to confirm that with you as soon as we can. OK, so if you look at the next slide, I can explain more about the groups. OK, so as I've said, we're hoping to support your, we've adopted this structure to kind of support your child to have the calmest and smoothest transition possibly. So in your information packet, will let you know whether your child is A, B or C, and that's just organised purely by age. We've split the calendar year into sort of 3-4 month chunks. And what we'll do is, as you can see from the first week, your child will attend at least 2 morning sessions, and some children will stay for lunch. Once again, we find that staggering the lunches for the children is really important, because the lunch hall, it's important for them to get used to routines, but the lunch hall can be it's a large building compared to the classroom, the large room rather compared to the classrooms. It can be quite overwhelming. It can occasionally be a little bit noisy. So we're wanting the children to really just have a low-key lunch with just their group of 10 to begin with. But as you can see, if you look ahead to the second week, from Tuesday, so from their 7th day at school with us, all the children are in for the mornings and all of the children are in for lunch. And as you can see, in the afternoons of the last 3 days of the second week, 1 group of 10 per class will stay for their afternoon session. And again, we think this staggered introduction as part of a smaller group works really well and supports the positive and nurturing build up to your child kind of moving towards full time. The week after that, so the third week of term, the third full week of term, we're anticipating that most children will be ready to start school on a full-time basis. And we do, as Mrs. McGregor and Mrs. Lee have mentioned, we offer an open door policy. So, if we feel, or if you feel perhaps that your child needs a bit more of a staggered start, then that's something we can discuss. And we are able to offer part-time sessions, especially for those children that are not yet 5. So if we move on to the next slide, thank you. OK, so this slide really is to let you know what starting school we anticipate that will look like for your children. So as I've mentioned, from Monday the 20th of September, most children will be in on a full-time basis. And when we move to that full day, the school day starts at 8:40, as it has for the previous weeks when you've had your staggered start, and then it goes through till 3:10. The children will need to come in uniform. So if you've got children that already attend the school, you'll be aware of this, but the children wear navy grey or black trousers, shorts or skirts or dresses, and then they have a white or blue polo shirt and a navy blue jumper or a cardigan. There is uniform available with the school logo in the office, and you can pop in and buy some of that if you'd like, but equally a plain navy blue jumper or cardigan is fine. OK. At the moment, we're hoping that PE will be back to normal, so children will be changing for PE within the classroom, but we will keep you posted on any changes to that. But the idea is we have PE kits. The idea for the moment is that PE kits will be worn in school on PE days. So at the moment, this works really well with the children currently in school. So they just need to wear black shorts and a white polo shirt. And then they can come in, as it's summer at the moment, the children are coming in with trainers, but at the very start of their school year, they won't need plimsolls or anything like that. They'll just be doing gymnastics and dance in the hall while they get used to the bigger space and while we settle the children in. Class 1 are going to have their PE on a Tuesday and class 2 will be on a Wednesday. We also, one of the things we operate at school that we're really proud of is a forest school. So each child in the school gets a forest school session, either a morning or an afternoon, and there are designated days for that, which you can see. So class 1 on Wednesday, class 2 on Tuesday. And we do ask the children wear forest school clothing on that day. So what we mean by that is, regardless of the weather, they need to have a long sleeve shirt or a top of some kind, like a hoodie, or long trousers. I mean, even if it's the summer, we need to make sure that children's legs are protected because it is a wild area, so there might be brambles or stinging nettles. And then in the winter, we go out in all weathers, so it does need to be a raincoat, a thick, warm coat. We suggest layers, so children quite often come in a vest, then a t-shirt, then a jumper, and that's absolutely fine. So as many layers as you feel your child needs. And then at the moment, we're not able to share our all-weather suits. Again, we're hoping that that might change, but at the moment, if your child could bring like a raincoat or something waterproof, that would be ideal. The school lunches, Your child will need to bring a packed lunch every day, or all children of infant age are entitled to a free school meal. So we do have an online ordering system where you can log in and order your child's meals. You can look in advance for several weeks and you can click and select the meal that you'd like. And we offer a couple of hot options, and also there's always like a sandwich or a wrap option too. So you could have like a packed lunch option if you were preferring your child not to have a hot dinner at lunch. As I've mentioned previously, your child will get a book bag and a bottle, so that needs to come into school every day, please, filled with water. We ask the children to drink just water in the school and just bring a bottle with water in it rather than juice or anything else, please. And I think I've mentioned the bottom one, but it was just we talked about how your child will make the transition to full-time hours at a pace that's suitable for them, so we can talk more about that if you feel that this will benefit your child, so you can talk to your class teacher. Okay, so I think I'm now going to hand over to Miss Reed. So Miss Reed is one of the Class 2 teachers, and she's going to tell you a little bit about school readiness and how you can best support your child to be ready to begin school with us.
Have we got the next slide, please? Thank you. So hi everybody, here are some things that are really easy but really important that you might like to do over the next few months to help your child get ready for starting school. So firstly, thinking about eating lunch. If your child's going to be having a hot dinner in school, getting them used to using a knife and fork and feeding themselves is going to be really important. We use full-size cutlery in school, so getting used to using that will help them to be as independent as possible at lunchtime. If they're going to be having a packed lunch, it's worth practicing unzipping or unlocking their lunch boxes so that they can do that quite confidently, and having a little go at opening up any packets and things that might be in their lunch boxes too. Another thing to think about is dressing and undressing. So being able to put on their coat and do up their zip as well by themselves is so important for starting school. And we have 60 children in the reception cohort, and we spend a lot of time outside. So being able to do this independently is really important. Children also need to be able to put on their shoes and their socks by themselves and take them off by themselves as well. And we would suggest avoiding lace-up shoes, especially at the beginning of the year, because obviously they're tricky to do by themselves. And eventually children may need to be able to change themselves for PE and forest school, so it's always worth practicing that from now. Being able to build friendships is really, really important when starting school. Sharing and turn taking is integral to lots of things that we do as part of the school day. So doing things at home with your family to help children develop these skills is going to support them with this. So playing board games is a fun and enjoyable way of doing that. Having good listening skills is really important for being ready at school. Children have to follow lots of instructions throughout the school day, so you might like to help them with their listening skills by playing games at home, simple games like Simon Says. There are lots of apps and games that children can play as well to help develop their listening skills too. And lastly, thinking about toileting. So it is essential that your child comes to school fully toilet trained. Unless they have a medical need, we're unable to change nappies like nurseries are able to. So please make sure that your child is toilet trained. And it's worth thinking about as well, buttons, zips, fastenings on the school uniform that you're buying. Sometimes we find at the beginning of the year, if they're not used to wearing those kind of trousers, they get themselves to the toilet but then can't get the buttons undone and sometimes have an accident. So thinking about the type of uniform that you're buying and practicing doing the little clips and zippers will help them with that too. So Mrs. Wiltshire now is going to give you some further tips on the next slide.
Hi, so yeah, just a few more bits to help get your child ready for school. So as Mrs. Lee said earlier, oracy and talk is such a big part of what we do here at Hartford Infant School, and it just underpins all areas of learning. So talking to your child about everything and anything really, they love to chat. So even if you're just going for a walk up to Sainsbury's, talking with them, I know it's really hard, but if you try and put your phone away and just have a really good conversation, they're going to learn so much from you. You're giving them new vocabulary and they're just enjoying that back and forth chat with you. Stories as well, reading to them every night is really important, and during the day too if they want to. This is at the heart of what we do in early years. It's so important. They can just learn so much. It's lovely just to snuggle down with a book, but they can learn, well, they can build in their imagination, they can learn new vocabulary, find out information and facts as well. They're just a great way into learning. Being physically active is really important. So it's not only great for your child's health and well-being, but also for preparing their muscles for things like writing. So if you can get outside as much as possible, running, going on a scooter, on a bike, playing in the park, and also developing their fine motor skills too. So things like threading and Play-Doh can really help with that. Singing songs and nursery rhymes is really important too, because children who pick up rhyme and rhythm, they're going to go on to hopefully be really good readers and writers. So singing songs with them and nursery rhymes can really help. It also helps counting skills too. Songs like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Once I Caught a Fish Alive, or 5 currant buns, there were 10 in the bed. Lots of songs can help with counting. Developing mark making skills is really important too. So just being able to hold a pen on a piece of paper and just make marks. Doesn't matter if they're not forming letters yet, just any sort of marks will be great. You can encourage this in so many different ways. Children love to use pens on paper, especially if they're your special pens. That's their favourite thing to do. But also things like chalk outside on the pavement where it can wash away. You can paint on easels if you have one. Using sticks in mud is really good, or in sand. And also, if you're like me and have had lots of deliveries, cardboard boxes, you can open them up, spread them across the floor, and they just love to draw on those with paint or with pens. And then finally, auditory and visual memory is really important as well. It's going to help children become good readers. So playing games such as Spot the Difference, and also Kim's game, where you get lots of objects, you can put them on a tray and take one away and see if they can work out which one's missing. That's quite a fun game to play. But these are really quick and easy ways to really help their auditory and visual memory. So now I'm going to pass you back to Mrs. Eagle on the next slide.
Okay. So we are planning to have a early years foundation stage workshop to tell you more about our curriculum in the new academic year. So we'll keep you posted about that. We'll put the details on our website and let you know. But I'm going to give you a really quick whistle-stop tour about the early years curriculum. So as you might be aware, reception is part of the early years foundation stage, which ranges from birth all the way up to 5 years old. And because of this, we follow a different curriculum to Key Stage 1, so different from the Year 1 and 2 children that are in our school. There is a new early years foundation stage curriculum that is being launched from September that we will be following. And this sets the standards to make sure that children aged from birth to 5 develop well and kept healthy and safe. There's a really strong focus, which has been lovely to see, on early language development and extended vocabulary, which is amazing because that's what we're all about at Hartford Infant School. I know Mrs. Lee and the rest of the team members have mentioned the oracy focus here and why that's so important. So the emphasis is really on embedding and developing oracy and vocabulary skills across all the 7 areas of learning, because we believe it improves child development in the broad curriculum that they'll encounter here with us. So the curriculum is made up of 7 areas, and we use these areas to assess and plan the skills that your children need to learn next, whilst allowing them to also explore their own interests. So we have our prime areas, which are communication, language, physical development, and personal, social and emotional development. And surrounding that, we've also got the specific areas, as they're known in the curriculum, which are literacy and maths, understanding the world, and expressive arts and design. The early years curriculum is underpinned by what are known as the characteristics of effective learning, and these are reinforced by our Hartford heroes. If you're wondering, if you're new to the school, you're wondering what these lovely characters are. These are our Hartford heroes, and each Hartford hero kind of links to the characteristics of effective learning. So there's aim high hippo, we've got our perseverance parrot, thinking about keeping on trying, being a resilient learner. We've got the involved iguana, you know, and we've got problem solver snake, teamwork tigers. The children love to be teamwork tigers, working together at school. And then we've got reflective rex. So all of these characters, as I say, we'll talk more about this when we have our foundation workshop, but each hero kind of models and encourages a specific characteristic of learning that we're aiming our children to aspire to. So we find that the children absolutely love them, and they quickly learn to identify how they can improve their learning and, you know, which Hartford hero they're being today. So we use them a lot to kind of support the children to make sensible choices and to really, move their learning on. So the assessment in reception is observation based, so the children will not be sitting any tests. The staff team members interact with the children, we scaffold their learning, we support them to make connections and link their ideas. We want them to explore their fascinations and their own interests through their play, and a big role of the adults in the setting, alongside all the things I've just mentioned, is to collect, collect and monitor your child's learning. And one of the ways we do that is through the online learning journal on Tapestry. And there's more about that in your information pack. And I think Mrs. Lee is going to talk about it more as well. As I've mentioned, in September, we're hoping to be able to welcome you into school for an early years foundation stage workshop, and that will tell you a lot more about our curriculum. And it's always lovely for you to come into our setting and see, lots of amazing resources that we've got that your children get to engage with when they're with us, both inside and outside. So it's, this is quite a dry slide as is, but, we'll bring it to life hopefully when we can welcome you into the school and sort of share, our ethos for your child's learning. And then finally, I wanted to mention that this year the government have introduced a baseline assessment to be completed with your child during the first 6 weeks with us at school. So you might have heard about this in the media. At Hartford Infant School, like many schools, we already do our own, form of baseline assessment. So the teachers and teacher assistants, we're gathering knowledge and information about your child from, from the moment we meet them. We're trying to assess, their needs when they arrive at school, and straight away, working out what their next steps might be to move their learning on, and what kind of things they need to kind of make the best start they can with us. The government aim for the baseline assessment to be part of the way that they measure school performance, and the idea, I believe, is to provide a snapshot of where pupils are when they arrive at school with us, and then the progress that they will make by the time they reach year 6, which is obviously a very long way off, but when they're 11 years old. So we're planning to use the baseline activities in our session in a playful, non-invasive, very low-key way. So they'll be presented as games, and many of them are really hands-on and visual. So we're hoping they'll appeal to the children. So, that's something that we want you to be aware of, something we'll be doing within those first 6 weeks to kind of, complete the baseline that we've been asked to do. Okay, and I think now Mrs. Lee is going to talk to you a little bit more about some of the things I've mentioned and talk to you about partnerships. So can we have the next slide, please?
Hello. Yes, I'm going to talk about partnerships. They're very, very important. This is a partnership between yourself as a parent, a carer of your child, and us. If your child's going to make the progress that they need to make and that they are able to make, we need to make sure that our partnership is very, very strong. You obviously know your child very, very well. You've been with them for the last 3-4 years with them, and we want to know all about your child. So when we come for home visits, please can you share anything with us? As Mrs. McGregor said, those golden nuggets will really help us to make sure that we have a positive journey together. So as Mrs. Eagle said, we use an online journal called Tapestry. I know lots of preschools use this in their practice. If you're not used to it, don't worry. In your pack that you pick up, it will explain what it actually is. It will be our way of sharing photographs, maybe videos from school that your child involved in, different activities that your child is involved in. And likewise, you can do that at home. So if maybe in the weekend you go to Hinchinbrook Park and your child is engaged in a particular activity, we would love to see that. And I know that the children, when they're in class, absolutely adore it when the class teachers share something from home that they've been doing. And also we post on Tapestry challenges for little activities that you can do at home that are linked to the learning that the children are doing in school. So that's very exciting. We also run a Facebook and a website, and we now have a YouTube channel as well. And on those platforms, we share lots and lots of information. If anything tonight is like, oh, we want to find out more, please head over to the website where everything is hopefully on there. And that includes our current learning. So if you want to know more about anything that the school are teaching, you need to look out for the learning leaflets and inquiry organisers, and we send those out each half term, and you'll get tons of them while you're with us. So for the 3 years that your child is with us, you'll get them every half term, and it will tell you exactly what we're doing with the children, and it will also give you ideas. So like, what, the vocabulary that we're going to be using with them. We also have parents' evenings, so you'll have the home visit in September, and then around about Christmas time there'll be a parent evening. Now, we did them as phone calls this last academic year because of COVID, but we're hoping that you'll be able to come into school at some point and come and talk to the class teacher, have a look at their books and their folders and see the work they're actually producing in school. And then we have another one of those in the Easter term. And then at the end of the academic year, there is a written report, but you also have the opportunity to come in and talk about the report, but that's way off. As Mrs. Eagle said, your child will be given a book bag, and inside the book bag we will put obviously books, but we'll also put probably newsletters. They are sent out to you electronically, but sometimes if we need a response from you, it's good to have a paper copy, so rather than you having to try and print it all out. In your pack, you'll also have something called the home school agreement. Please read through that. It will tell you exactly what we're going to try and do. And if you can have a look at it with your child, there's a little bit for your child to say, yep, this is what school's all about and what you've got to do. And then also how we can work together further. The reading tree. Now, we haven't been using the reading tree this year because of COVID, but we're hoping to reintroduce it. So it's basically just a tree that is in our main foyer, and the children are encouraged to read as many books as they can to move up the tree. So if they have little reading cards, basically, there are different colours, and I think the first one is a blue, and if they've read 40 books, then they can go on to the first star that's on the tree, and then they read another 40 books and that sort of thing. If we do move forward with that, I'll make a special video that you'll be able to watch and it will hopefully make it all a lot clearer. But it's basically a little competition of their own. Now, sometimes they choose to, be a little bit competitive in school. So they'll be like, oh, I'm on this card, and another child will say, well, I'm on this card, that sort of thing. But it's really just for them to see if they can read more and more books. And as one of our teachers used to say, because reading makes you brainy. And last but not least, with our partnership, we would like you to maybe volunteer to come into school. We're always looking for people that would come in and read, or maybe come and do forest school. We have lots of lovely mums at the moment who come in and help out at forest school. We really would love to encourage dads or maybe granddads to come in as well. So if you've got some spare time and you would like to come into school, come to the school office. There is safeguarding checks to do before you're able to come into the school and actually do any activities, but it's nothing that is too invasive. Right, I think we can move on to the next slide, hopefully. I'm going to pass you over to Miss Reed now. It's not me, is it?
Okay, so I'm just going to go through what's actually in your new starter information pack now. So as Mrs. Eagle said, this pack is going to be ready for you to collect by Wednesday. So it has lots of important information in it. So if you can come and collect it as soon as you can, that would be really helpful. So in the front of your pack, you'll have a covering letter, which will tell you which class your child is going to be in, either class 1 or class 2, and it will outline which transition group they're going to be in and the dates and times that they'll need to be in school. And there'll be a staff photograph sheet in there, which you can show your child to start familiarising themselves with the adults they're going to be working with in September. There'll be some information about pupil premium funding and what we offer here at Hartford. If you're unsure whether you're eligible for pupil premium funding, please do fill the form out anyway, because you never know. And if we can get some additional money for the school, that money then we can use to further support your child. So it's always worth filling out, even if you're not sure if you're eligible. There will be an All About Me booklet in your pack too. If you can complete this with your child over the summer, and then when we come and do our home visits in September, this is one of the things that we like to look at with your child. And it's just a lovely talking point and gives us some extra information just to get to know your child even better. There will be some information about data collection. The homeschool agreement will be in there, as Mrs. Lee has already explained to you. There'll also be an acceptable use agreement for your child to sign, and this basically outlines how we would expect your child to use technology in school safely and appropriately. There will be information about the school grid so that you can book your child's school lunches if you would like to do that. And there'll also be some information about school milk. So if you didn't know, all children under 5 are eligible for free school milk, and they'll have that as part of their snack each day. So fill out your form if you would like them to receive that. There'll be some information about PATHS, which is our Parent Teacher Association. The Tapestry agreement will be in there, so we need permission from you to set up a Tapestry account. So please fill that in, and then we can hit the ground running with Tapestry in September. And lastly, there will be a copy of our prospectus in there as well. I think Mrs. Lee is going to talk to you a little bit more about volunteering now on the next slide.
Lovely. Yes, so if you want to volunteer for the school, there are different ways that you can. So I've already spoken about Forest School and being a class reader. The top one, PATH, that stands for Parents at the Hartford schools. Now, gosh, if you've had a child already go through our school, you might remember that we had a PTA called Hi-Fi, which was Hartford Infant Fundraising Initiative. They're both a PTA, and what we try to do is raise more money for the school for those little extras like the book bags and the water bottles. If you do get into the classrooms, you can see some of the amazing resources that we have purchased through the PTA funding. And we're always looking for people who've got great ideas, and then we love to listen to them and see if we can incorporate them to raise some money for the school. As I've said, class readers, Forest School volunteers are a great way to come in and see your child. Now, governors, we are always on the lookout for governors. If you have a particular skill, maybe you would like to come be part of the local governing body, that would be brilliant. Again, find me if you come to any of our events like Stay and Play events or Changeover Day, and I can talk you through what that actually entails. We sometimes have vacancies, so I know that there's a couple on the website at the moment for our preschool, but we're also looking in the next couple of weeks for some more midday supervisors. So if you've got some time to spare and you would like to be part of the school, don't hesitate to have a look on the website or contact us. And also, we're always looking for people to run clubs. So my mum runs a sewing club. We have clubs that are also organised by outside agencies. But if you've got a particular skill, maybe, I don't know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head at the moment, but you never know. If you've got a particular skill and you think, oh yeah, the children would really like that. Oh, we had skateboarding once. So a parent ran a skateboarding club. If that's something that you can offer, we would love to hear from you. Right. I'm going to stop talking. Hopefully I'm going to move on to the next slide. Oh, it's me again. It's governors. Okay, so I'm just going to introduce you to the governors that we have currently. So we have a mixture of teachers. So along the bottom row, you can see him again, and you can see Mrs. Orledge, who I was talking to you about earlier on. He's one of our support staff and also runs the Treehouse Club. And the lady in the middle, Josie, she's the clerk. And then on the top row, we have a parent governor, Mrs. Amy McRae, and we have Mr. Vaughan Clark, who is our chair, and Sunitha, who is one of our, used to be a parent governor, but has remained on the governing body. So we must be doing something right to keep her with us. So again, you can see there's some spaces. If you'd like to become a governor, do come and find me or contact me somehow by email or phone, and I will share more information with you. Thank you. Next slide.
Okay, so I just wanted to share a couple of the COVID-19 kind of plans that we have in place that are working well currently and that we're anticipating could well be in place in September when your children join us. So currently we're opening class bubbles. So we have a reception bubble which is made up of class 1 and class 2. Usually we would prefer to offer more of a free flow inside environment, but this year the bubbles within the classroom, difficult to explain if you've not been in, but when you come in you'll be able to see. There are 2 separate classrooms, but there is a shared middle area. So currently the middle area is split into 2. So the children, you know, they quite often wave and chat to each other over the middle area, but they are kind of separate. The bubble do have lunch together in the hall, so they sit on separate bubble tables, so class 1 tables and class 2 tables, but they do play together outside. So they play together outside in zoned areas in the playground at lunchtime, and also we offer free flow inside and outside throughout our school day, and they're able to play together outside, obviously with the ventilation and it being an outside environment. At the moment, reception in Key Stage 1, so Key Stage 1 being Year 1 and Year 2, they have staggered drop-off time. So the aim is to keep a flow of parents coming through, dropping their children, saying goodbye, and then kind of leaving the school site. And obviously we share a large part of our school site with Hartford Junior School. So we've had to think really carefully about the different year groups when they come in. So we've kind of spent quite a lot of time kind of getting that to work, and that's worked really well this year. So currently there's a one-way system in place, which if you come to the stay and play, you might have spotted some of the signs and the arrows. So this is designed to keep the traffic, if you like, of parents and children coming onto the school site to drop off and pick up kind of quite fluid. So it's kind of moving throughout, and then, as I say, children will be collected and then move off the site. At the moment, we're asking that all parents wear masks on site. Unless you have an exemption and a lanyard to show that you're exempt from wearing them. This is for the safety of everybody. So just like anywhere else at the moment in the country, we try and minimise the amount of people if possible. So we do ask at the moment that only one adult comes onto the school premises with their children in the morning and afternoon to kind of keep the numbers down overall. One of the things that we've done all year is and we would encourage anyway as part of school life generally, is children are washing their hands throughout the day, especially on entering the building, leaving the building and before eating. So that usually involves the soap and water in the 20 seconds, but we do have hand sanitizer, gallons of hand sanitizer available, so the children are using that throughout the day. For example, today we had a PE session outside, so the children come in from PE and use the hand gel before they get on with the rest of their afternoon. The school is well ventilated at all times, even in the winter, so we had all the windows open, the doors open. You know, so there's lots of air flowing through the classrooms and throughout the whole school. So in the hall, you know, everywhere is well ventilated. As you enter the school, if you've been before, you would notice that there's hand gel available. And as I've said, if you could wear a mask, that would be really helpful. And I think, Mrs. Lee, we anticipate a lot of these things being in place from September. It's really hard to say, but that's what we're anticipating. So I want to share those with you now so that you're aware of, you know, kind of how things are working at the moment. One positive thing out of this is we've had very few bugs, very few runny noses, colds, tummy bugs. I think the incessant hand washing and gelling has had a very positive impact on that. I think, you know, we've had a lot fewer children with sniffles and colds. I think all those germs are getting zapped through our, you know, abiding to all these guidelines. Okay, and before I move on to Mrs. Lee to finish off, I just wanted to mention earlier in the presentation I talked about Forest School and PE and the fact that currently, due to COVID, the children are coming into school on their PE or their Forest School day wearing their PE or their Forest School clothes. I just wanted to clarify that. I mean, this will be in your induction pack, but I just wanted to clarify that we won't be running Forest School for the 2 weeks of our induction with the ABC groups or PE. We won't start either of those until the week beginning the 20th of September. So if you just send your child in with school uniform every day for all of their allocated sessions for their group, and then we will communicate with you and remind you via Tapestry and the website, you know, when our PE and Forest School days are, to give you a bit of a reminder there. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please.
Okay, well done. You made it to the end. Thank you for listening. We do have some time now, though, that if you would like to pop anything into the chat, any questions, we're more than happy to answer them. You might want to aim it at a specific person, so maybe you would like to speak to Mrs. McGregor. We do have lots of other transition events that you will have been notified through your email, so keep checking your email. Sometimes the emails go through to spam, unfortunately, so can you just on your system somehow make sure that you put us as a favourite, hartfordinfantschool.org, and then you'll be able to receive the emails that come through with all the attachments. Right. I think that's it. I haven't got any chat. I'm just going to look at the chat.
Mrs. Lee, there's a question about parking, ensuring a safe drop-off and pick-up.
Yes. So we don't allow parking on school site, unfortunately. We haven't got enough room. So we're always encouraging families to park over at the LP and the Mayfield Shops car parks, and then walk across the road just outside the front of Mayfield Shops with the lollipop person. She will be able to take you across the road safely. If she's not there, then there is the subway. Lots of parents do park along Mayfield Road. You can't actually get into Mayfield Crescent, which is a tiny little road that's in front of the school, because that's blocked off because we have a parking system there. So yes, if you can walk to school, that would be brilliant, or scoot or bike. Obviously we've got a bike shed, but if you do need to come in your car, please park over and just walk through. It takes, apparently a parent did timed it once, and it takes just 2 minutes. There you go. Hopefully that's answered that question.
And we have a question about when they can book in for story times and for lunches.
Yeah, so if you want to call up from tomorrow, about from 8:30 in the school office, Mrs. Hayho she's got spreadsheets galore for story times, lunches, and home visits as well.
And can we also just reiterate the process with the packs as to where people can get them from and the timings that they can collect the packs?
So you can collect packs anytime from 8:30. Well, you can actually come if you want to come a bit earlier, because I'll be in the school office. So if you want to come from the morning through to the 6 o'clock, the school closes. So if you're at work and you want to swing by as before you get home, come in to the school. We're the furthest building. So when you come into school grounds and it's out of school hours, come through. You'll have to buzz through and somebody will let you in. So yes, anytime really.
And Mrs. Lee, we did have a question on the chat about a Saturday, and I said, unfortunately, we can't facilitate collecting the packs on a weekend.
No, sorry, not. But hopefully, if you know, we are open till 6 o'clock, so hopefully that will suit everybody.
We have another question about how early can we book for breakfast club and after school club?
You can start booking now, so you can put your names down now if you're interested in breakfast school and after school club, and then we send out half-termly a booking sheet. So that's for the usually half terms around about between 6 to 8 weeks. So you have on the sheet you'll be able to put down the timings that you would want, and we're quite flexible. So if you can't make one, if you telephone us up and let us know, or if you want an extra one because something's come up with work or with family, then just phone through.
And then the next question is about what if my child is struggling to come in and settle?
That's a tricky one, and don't worry, all right. I think sometimes that your child might start school straight away and be really excited, and they do the first day and they're like, that's it, I've done it, and then you have to remind them, actually you're going to be doing that now again and again and again, and the honeymoon phase sort of wears off. Our staff are very well trained in helping children, so we will work with you. We'll talk to you about what's best, how to bring them in. So we might be looking at maybe offering breakfast club, or maybe we could say that you just do quite a quick drop off. So you just come in and drop them off and leave very quickly. It really depends on the child really, and how we can work best to support them. But don't worry about it, and we're so used to it. All right, and it might not happen straight away. Like I say, it might happen, after a couple of days when I think, oh gosh, I really do have to keep coming here. I hope that answers the question.
We have a question about, do we get a uniform list in the pack of what the children will need to have? And what if my child refuses to drink water or will not drink water?
Okay, so with the uniform, inside the prospectus it explains it all. There is on our YouTube channel also a little video that we made that shows some of the children wearing the uniform, because if it isn't in school, when you come to buy some, we can order it all in, so you can have a little look at the sizes. And does that answer that part of the question? And the other part was about drinking water. We always encourage the children to drink water. The problem is we don't want any other child to pick up a bottle. If they accidentally do pick up somebody else's bottle and there's water in it, then we know, oh great, they've only drunk water. But if they were to pick up another child's bottle with juice in there and they're allergic to the juice, that makes it really challenging for us. But again, that's a reasonable adjustment. That would be something that I would come and speak to me about, and just and we could have that conversation.
Another question about water bottles. Are the children allowed to use their own water bottle instead of the school? Yeah, absolutely. So we will provide you with one, and you can write your name on it, but we do recognise that in
usually in non-COVID times, the children all had exactly the same water bottle. They got used to seeing their name on it. It was really good for them to, read their name, that sort of thing. But no, you're more than welcome to bring your own water bottle in.
And then the next question is, do we hold any music sessions or instrument learning? And thank you very much for an informative session.
Oh, thank you. That's really lovely. No, unfortunately, we don't. We have tried to do this before, and we tried to do it in language lessons as well. But it's always something that we can look into. So if there was enough uptake, then we could probably try to facilitate something like that. So do, again, come and find me and talk to me, and I can start looking into that.
And then the final question is After School and Breakfast Club free?
Oh, no, unfortunately not. No, I think it is currently around about £4.50 to £5 for the morning session. You do get breakfast, and the ladies that work in there, Mrs. Orledge and some other members of staff who are midday supervisors in school, they will do some reading with your children. So they do offer quite a lot of activities. And then the afternoon sessions run from the end of the day, and we finish at 5:45. And I can't remember off the top of my head how much that is, but again, if you email or phone the school, Mrs. Hayho will be able to give you those prices.
And then just another thank you for the session. They've said it's been very helpful.
Oh, lovely. Well, thank you so much. I do hope it has. There is so much more that we could share with you, but we won't bombard you now. I'm sure there's some football on somewhere that some people might be wanting to watch. However, you can contact us. We do pick up emails, so don't worry about contacting us over the weekend. Somebody will catch up with you at some point. So I really hope that we'll see you come and collect your pack soon, and maybe sign up for any of the activities, and we'll be able to talk with you then. Exciting. I hope to see you. If I don't see you before, then hopefully we'll see you in September.
We have one final question about After School Club. What do we get with After School Club? I think that perhaps means in terms of maybe what kind of food we provide.
Okay, so breakfast is provided in the mornings and a drink, and there is the opportunity to use the iPads maybe to go onto Bug Club, which is our current online reading platform that we've been using with the children. They also, in the afternoon, they will get a light snack. It could be pizza or it could be some spaghetti hoops. The children are quite involved in that, actually, so they sort of choose with Mrs. Orledge what they would like to eat over the weeks that they and the days that they're in. Then there's opportunities to go outside, and there's loads of activities for the children to do, so whether that's puzzles, that sort of thing. What we try to replicate is what would be at home, but within a school situation. So there will be some one-to-one time with an adult, maybe doing some colouring, or maybe working on some of the areas of the early years foundation stage. If your child is in still in obviously your child's going to be in reception, but you are working on some of that. So Mrs. Orledge knows them from class, so she might be working on maybe some phonics with them or something like that. Does that answer that question, hopefully?
And then another question is, does my child need to know how to write their name when they start school?
Oh, well, if they want to, then definitely go for it if they're happy to, but don't force them. No. So lots of children will come into school, and some of them will be writing, some of them won't want to, but we do try to encourage them to mark make, and they might when they mark make say that's their name, and that's great, isn't it, if they're already starting to do that. In the prospectus there is a handwriting sheet that you can look at, so that you can look at some of the letter formations that we do. So yeah, gently encourage them like we would do with everything, but if they can't write their name, that's absolutely fine. That's our job.
Super, and we have no more questions.
Okay, lovely. All right then. Okay, so like I said, please email or phone us if you have anything else that's worrying you, or if something pops up maybe tonight when you've finished. You might think, oh well, I wish I'd asked that. We're still here. Well, we won't be here tonight, but we'll be here to answer your questions tomorrow.